All right, so I put the power cord back on the common wire. I still have power killed to the equipment, but I'm going to leave my coil sensor disconnected. Because the way these defrost boards work is the time temperature defrost. So every 30, 60, or 90 minutes, depending on where you have this jumper landed, this system is going to try to go into defrost. It's going to send a signal out to this coil. If that coil switch is cold enough and it's closed, it's going to get the signal back to this board, which is going to initiate defrost. Once it goes through its defrost, once this coil sensor warms up and opens, that's going to terminate defrost. In addition to this coil sensor, there's also typically a 10-minute maximum on the amount of time it will stay in defrost. So our procedures are going to be turn the system into heat mode. We're going to have to jump out the connectors for that coil sensor to make this board think that we have a closed switch. Then I'm going to have to use an insulated screwdriver and short out these speed up pins. All that does is speeds up the internal clock made inside of this board. So as soon as we shift into defrost, I'm going to have to remove that jumper off of my speed up pins, because if I don't, we'll go through our 10-minute maximum and we'll kick right back out of defrost. So when we go into defrost, there's three things that's going to have to happen. Our outdoor fan is going to have to shut off, which I can see and hear that. Our reversing valve is going to shift us to heat mode, dump hot gas on our outdoor coil. I should be able to hear that and feel of this vapor line, and it should start getting hot or cold when we go into defrost mode. We'll be shifted into regular cool mode, so that ought to get cold again. And the third thing that's going to happen is this board should be able to send a signal out on W, energize my heat strips, so that we're not blowing cold air on the customer. Now, in order to check that, I've got to disconnect my thermostat wire, because if I check 24 volts with my thermostat wire connected, I could actually be back reading it from the thermostat if it's calling for it too. I want to verify that the signal's coming from my board, not from my thermostat. So I'll disconnect those. We'll check 24 volts between white coming from my board and my common wire, which in this case is the black wire. Alright, so I've got this thing set up ready to check it. All I've done is put my jumper wires on the leads coming off the board for that coil sensor so that it's going to see a closed switch. So it thinks it's cold enough to go into defrost. So as soon as he puts it in heat mode, what's going to kick on, I'm going to short out these little speed up pins, and then once that it speeds up enough, it's going to kick right into defrost. Go ahead and decide. We turn it in heat mode, we let the system come on. Let it run a second. So when that's shorted out, now I'm going to jump out my test pins. Now remove it as soon as it goes into defrost. But I keep these on until I'm ready to terminate defrost. So our fan stopped. I saw that. Feel this line, it should start getting cold as we go into cool mode. And that becomes my suction line. Alright, and the last thing I need to do is just verify that I have 24 volts coming from my board on this white wire to common. It's showing 27 volts. So this thing is doing what it's supposed to do. Verify that's getting cool. So as soon as that coil sensor warms up, it should terminate defrost. So whenever that line is broken, we should come out of defrost. Which is it.